Good evening everyone. In this class we are going to discuss about rural settlement. Okay, first of all, what is human settlement? Okay, a human settlement is a cluster of dwellings of any type of size where human beings live. Rural settlements are most closely and directly related to land, and their economy is dominated by primary activities, for example agriculture, animal husbandry and fishing, etc. Key features: settlements are typically small and sparsely spaced, and social relations are often intimate due to less mobility in rural settlement. Now, from nomad to neighbor, the Neolithic dawn of village life. Okay, at the prehistoric period, they are nomadic life. They nomadic life, and after that, first nuts and farming, invention of farming systems, wheels and fires, and finally community dwelling. Okay, origins: rural settlements first emerged in the Neolithic period, that is 5000 to 1000 BC. The shift humans transition from nomadic life to settled farming, building huts with local materials like mud, bamboo and thatch. The catalyst: agricultural food security allowed populations to live permanently in one location, leading to community dwellings structured under a leader. Okay, after the human civilization began to cultivate their lands, okay, began to doing farming or agriculture, okay, they began to settle permanently, again, and ultimately leads to formation of community dwellings or permanent settlement in rural areas. Okay, the unseen forces that shape a settlement. Okay, there are many factors which shapes a settlement: water supply, land, upland, dry points, defense and building materials. Water supply: settlements cluster around rivers, lakes and springs for drinking, cooking and irrigation. Land: people chose to settle near fertile land suitable for agriculture. Uplands: dwellings are built on uplands like levees and terraces to avoid flooding and protect from pest. Defense: during times of instability, settlements were built on defensive hills or islands up high in Selbergs in Nigeria, for example. Building materials: availability of local wood and stone was a crucial advantage for construction in early settlements. Okay, these are some determinant factor of human settlement. Okay, now the typology of rural settlement: from tight-knit to far-flung. Okay, clustered: they are compact to each other, they are close to each other. Semi-clustered, okay, like this. Hamlet, okay, a little divided little portion of settlements. Okay, they are separated from each other. And dispersed, okay, dispersed like this, not compact. Okay, the community core: clustered and semi-clustered. Cluster settlement like this, semi-clustered like this. A compact or closely built up area of houses often found in fertile alluvial plains or in arid regions where people cluster around a water source, promote social cohesion, shared resources and ease of defense. Examples: fertile alluvial plains, northeastern states, the Bundelkhand region and parts of Rajasthan. Semi-clustered region results from the fragmentation of a large compact village. A dominant community often occupies its central part, reflects social structuring of a transitionary phase of settlement growth. Example: the Gujarat plains and parts of Rajasthan. Hamlet: the settlement is fragmented into several distinct units which may share a common name. These units are known locally as Panna, Para, Pali, Nagla, Dhani, etc., and often related to social factors where different communities live in separate parts of the village. Middle and lower Ganga plains, Chhattisgarh, and lower valleys of the Himalayas are some examples of hamlets. Dispersed appears as isolated huts or hamlets scattered over a large area. The occupants live in small isolated houses across farmed fields and driven by extreme terrain, fragmented land, resources and culture of individualism. For example, Meghalaya, Uttarakhand, Himachal Pradesh and Kerala. Okay, the blueprint for a village, patterns of arrangement, okay, settlement patterns. Okay, these are some types, okay, types of clustered, semi-clustered, types of rural settlement: clustered, semi-clustered, hamlet and dispersed. Okay, these are some patterns, okay, patterns of arrangement: linear house arranged along a route, river and railway lines like this. Rectangular, a grid-like layout with routes cutting at right angles, common in plain areas of plain settlements like this. Circular, houses built around a central point like a lake or trunk like this. Star-like, dwellings spread out along several routes that converge at a central point. This is the diagram. T-shaped or Y-shaped settlements developing at the T-junctions or convergence of routes like this, T, Y. Double village, those settlements on opposite sides of a river connected by a bridge or a ferry like this. Okay, these are some patterns of rural settlement. Okay, linear pattern. Houses are located along a transportation route like river, road, canal, or the edge of a valley. Okay, there are some advantages of linear pattern. Facilities, easy accessibility and transportation, and encouraging trade and commerce. For example, found along major routes and routes in rural parts of Kenya. Rectangular pattern, a grid-like layout like this, grid system, where routes are rectangular, like this, rectangular, and cut each other at right angle. Okay, like this. This is a right angle. Often the results of planned urbanization or colonization efforts. For example, Frontera, Mexico, a planned settlement that emerged from government-led urbanization. Similarly, radial pattern organized around a central point with buildings spreading outward like spokes on a wheel. The center is typically of religious, administrative, or economic importance. For example, Taos Pueblo, New Mexico, an ancient Native American settlement built around a central plaza. Circular pattern, villages developed around lakes and tanks, sometimes planned so the central part remains open, used for keeping animals to protect them from wild animals. To understand the diversity of rural settlements, consider JRF, Netherlands, known as the Venice of the North. It is a unique example of dispersed settlement features. Okay, this is a settlement. Features are countless small islands are connected by bridges like this. With no routes, residents primarily use boats for transportation. And this demonstrates how extreme geographical constraints can shape a settlement's entire morphology and way of life. Okay, this is a global anomaly, the village without routes. Okay, this is a global example found in Getron in Netherlands. Okay, also known as Venice of the North. The crack in the foundation, modern challenges in rural settlements. There are some challenges in rural settlements. Rural settlements in developing countries are large in number and often poorly equipped with infrastructure. They face significant challenges like water scarcity, poor sanitation system, precarious housing, lack of connectivity, service deficits. Water supply. People, particularly in mountainous and arid areas, must walk a long distance to fetch drinking water. This leads to a high prevalence of waterborne diseases like cholera and jaundice. Infrastructure, unmetalled routes mean settlements can be entirely cut off during the rainy seasons, posing serious difficulties in providing emergency services. The lack of reliable internet access creates a digital divide. Similarly, housing, another constraint in rural areas. Most traditional house designs are deficient in proper ventilation and require constant maintenance. They remain susceptible to damage during heavy rains and floods. Economic decline. The migration of younger populations to urban centers in search of opportunities can lead to shrinking workforce and a decline in rural economic activity. These are some disadvantages of rural settlement. Rural settlements are not relics of the past. They are living landscapes continuously being reshaped by urbanization, technological development, and new government policies. Understanding their morphology is critical for developing effective policies and strategies for sustainable rural development. Concluding thought, the forms and patterns of real life are constantly changing. Kinds and patterns witness the architectural and geometrical alteration and shifting paradigm of society and cultural way of life as a result of changes in vocation, types of cultivation, cultural assimilation, and technical developments and dissemination of innovation. Okay, in this class we have discussed about rural settlements, their types and patterns, and advantage and disadvantage of rural settlement. That's all for today. If you have any doubt and query, just let me know in the comment section. Thanks for watching. Thank you.